if you truly think about it, the destination that you want to get to is just an influence of whatever you've seen. But your own journey, that's going to show you so much more. That's going to, the destination is like, okay, I want to get here and I know I'm going to get there, but through the journey, I'm telling you, the growth, the learning, the discipline you learn, the so many different aspects of life that you are able to consume and recreate. You know what I mean? That's where truly you find your own magic. Yo, 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 Kxmikaze aquí. Estamos con Lucrative Youth, and this is LY Talks.
So it's July 2022 right now.
I think so.
And looking back 2 years ago was the start of a pandemic where the world was flipping. What do you think you as an artist have learned in this time?
Wow, throughout COVID, throughout the pandemic, as an artist, no lie, within my personal life, I really balanced out just family and music within those times, within these 2 years. So I began to just, network little bit by little bit. I moved to LA for about a year. I was staying over there. I was just meeting up with different producers, different artists. I really took the time to just grow my network. A lot of people say they didn't travel. I was actually traveling a whole lot, So, and yeah, that's really what it was. I took that time to just learn the most about music business, what it would truly take to go from a local artist to now an aspiring artist on the rise, in the Miami scene, LA scene, just picking up everything I could from my environment, So that's really what I took in. And then the music, of course, I've just been growing the more I work on music. Lately, we've been locking in with J.R. Rodham. I've been working with him a whole lot. And yeah, we've just been creating a new sound and pretty much finding my own sound and creating something new out of myself.
Yeah, because that's one thing about you that I love is the fact that with the bilingual songs, like the English will be so fire, then the Spanish will come in and be so fire and just take it to like a next level. Or like the one you literally just played where it was a completely, super cool vibe throughout it. Switched it up at the end to bring in like a, reggaeton, turn up club vibe. And it was like, damn, like, yo, I didn't even know this song could have this in it, but you brought it out.
Yeah, I love doing like little different stuff like that. I love breaking the rules of music. I'll tell you that for sure, especially because, even now in the day we live in today's day, there's a lot of bilingual artists, but I feel like there's not there's not as many popping off the way we really should be. You know what I mean? For people who can really speak two different languages, Spanish and English. I mean, if you speak those two, you got like a pretty big population of the world at your hands. You know what I mean? So being bilingual has got to be one of my favorite parts about making music. It's just being able to cater to different audiences. When I feel stuck in one language, I'll just go to the other. I come up with a bar in Spanish because I can't come up with some in English or vice versa.
That probably makes the creativity flow like insane. I didn't even think about it like that.
Yeah, it's real fun. It's like you never really close yourself off to anything too much. It's just like, let's bounce around, see what we can do with this.
And another thing is, it's not just like, oh, you just happen to speak Spanish and English. Like, you're also Mexican from Chicago. So exactly like you said, like, it's a crowd. Like, that's like, if you think about, like, the amount of Mexicans in America or Chicago specifically, and, like, that community and that crowd type of feeling. Like, my question to you is kind of like, how do you feel the differences between, like, let's say how the Mexican, Hispanic side may show you love on the Spanish versus an English kind of crowd, like, when it's on the English stuff and the way kind of fans could support?
Man, that's something I kind of always ask myself. Because when I speak Spanish, I don't sound as, the typical Mexican, you know what I mean? Like, some people tell me I sound more Colombian, more Puerto Rican, more anything but Mexican. And, the thing with that is because I was born in Mexico, but I moved to Chicago when I was about 2 years old. So most of my life I spent over here in the U.S. Little by little bit, my Spanish kind of went going away because then I had to get used to, teachers speaking English, friends speaking English, movies in English, TV shows in English, radio English. Everything around me was English. So quickly I started to learn English, but with my music, like I said, so for some people it's weird hearing a Mexican not have that culture type of talk, you know, like I don't even know how to.
No, I know exactly what
But
you're
you know
saying.
what I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
you know. So when
exactly.
people tell me that, I be like, "Yo, what you expect me to come in here with a sombrero and shit?" They're like,
Some people do
oh,
expect that. Yeah, literally.
echar un grito,
Yeah.
cosas así. But nah, bro, I'll tell you, that's something I ask myself a lot too. Just seeing the way people react to it. Even then, I show a lot of my music to people that's like fresh out of their countries, Latin countries, of course, and they always tell me that it sounds hard. It's a new sound. It's something fresh. So even then, the feedback's always been positive. So man, it's been a matter of just like I want to get music out there to really see how the people react to it, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's kind of where I'm
Because
at.
that's what it's about at the end of the day. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like I'm sure you'd be surprised with some songs where you put on an English vibe and you're like, yeah, boom, people gravitate towards that. Or a Spanish vibe, yeah, people also
Yeah.
gravitate towards that. It's about seeing what the audience wants. That's how you get to really, you know, focus and say, boom, this is the route I'm going to take.
Yeah, for sure. And definitely it's like, especially when you add in just like the music aspect, okay, if I'm gonna use this slang, I'm gonna cater to these people. If I say this, it's obviously gonna cater to a certain different audience. So it's like it's cool. I just try to absorb as much as I can from, you know, Colombian culture, Dominican culture, Puerto Rican culture, Mexican culture. And I just kind of add my own twist because truly I feel like where I want to take my music, I don't want to box myself into just, you know, well, for one, I do bilingual music, so I don't like to box myself in with languages, nor do I like to box myself in with culture. You know, the way I look at it is like, yeah, the way I see things is like we're all equal, regardless of, you know, where we come from and our history and, you know, all that. There's a certain consciousness that we all hold that's the human experience. So it's like I just want to make music for humans. I want to make music for people to just connect to. Like, let's forget about all the other stuff and just, you know, connect with this and be free with it, you know? And that's really how I see it.
I like that. So now let's see. How about, you know how with your type of music, there's not only different languages, there's different vibes. You're very versatile. You feel me? Like, you know, one record be super turn up, a whole record on the whole other end. Like, you know, do you ever think there's a certain like type of vibe or emotion that'll put you in a specific creative zone, or is it kind of like, oh, this is what I'm gonna rap on today?
Man, usually when I'm creating, what makes me most creative is when I have the most creative control, because I'm as an artist, you know, especially in this industry, of course you have to be, you know, teachable. You have to be, you know, sometimes they tell you, yo, let's do these records, and it's like, okay, let's run it, you know. But like I said, when I'm making my music, I take away all barriers, and it's like, okay, just try your best to be free. Even though you know, I know all artists, we kind of criticize ourselves throughout that process, the creation process, being perfectionist, being this, being that. But you know, it's just like I don't like to put any genre to it either. You know, I like to mix. You know, no lie, me myself, I'll listen to country music. I'll listen to some R&B. I'll listen to EDM, some house music. Then I'll listen to Latin vibes. Then I'll take it back to the NWA days. Then I'll take it, you know, forward a little bit. Let's cut to the Wayne era. And this, bro, it's just my head's so filled with so many different music genres. You know, I listen to Limp Bizkit, the Pixies. That's more like rock. You know, tapping into those genres. And it's like when I'm really making music, I catch inspiration from everywhere. Like the subconscious thoughts just kind of flow in, and it's like, oh, I remember this from here. Damn, let me turn this into this and see what I could do with it. You know, and that's kind of where the versatility comes. Like the song I just showed you, where it was like a trap vibe, and out of nowhere it's like boom, but I get on drums.
Yeah.
And it's like I love doing stuff like that because just seeing your reaction to that it gives me life. You know what I mean?
That was
you know what I mean?
genuine reaction.
Yeah, you know, it's beautiful to me to, like I said, to give a human being a new experience and to see, you know, that experience ignite something in them, and it's like, yo, you know, that's what fuels me. It's like, yo, let's get this, you know, let's keep doing new stuff, new all types of stuff, because like I'm telling you, so many people can connect to it. It's just You just got to kind of step out the barriers and get it to them. But I promise you, if you go about it the right way, which at the end of the day, there's no rules in music, you know, it's just a matter of executing it the way you feel is the best. I promise you there's going to be a big audience for that. People are always going to kind of show some love for that, you know?
Facts. Speaking on that, like, what was like kind of a moment in your career that made you kind of say, yo, I'm built for this, or yo, this is what I want to do?
Man, like I told you, kind of before the interview, I've always wanted to make music since I was a little kid. I just never truly had the confidence to. You know, it always called me around fifth grade. My mom was like, okay, I'm gonna get you a drum kit set, but you gotta dedicate yourself. And I don't know why, just growing up, I was scared to dedicate to something. I was scared to I'll tell you what, the basketball was kind of what opened me to being free with the things I truly like. I fell in love with basketball. Eventually, I became a YouTuber, and that kind of opened the window up for like my shyness, my anxiety with social anxiety type. You know, I mean, I used to record myself and just be so worried about what do people think about me. You know, so it was something that I gradually had to go through. You know what I mean? And the confidence for, you know, this is for me. Like I started making music in 2018. When I heard myself in the studio and I heard what I could do and seeing like, dang, I could really turn this into something crazy, that kind of ignited the fire in me. And within the years, the more I progressed, the more I maintained consistent, the more I disciplined myself with my work ethic, the more I try to be more creative. And the way just life blesses me with opportunities and certain things come together and they align, it's what makes me much more comfortable with like, okay, this is for me. You know what I mean? So I'll tell you, it's not something that just kind of happened and it's like, okay, this is what I'm going through. It's with me, it's something that's gradually growing. And the more
it's been there,
yeah, it's always been there. It's just like
it's like a seed, you know, and
yeah,
seeds are
literally.
oh, one day, shit, yeah, it's huge. No, it's a
For real.
couple years later, it could be
Exactly.
a couple months, could be a couple days. One time I had a super motivation, but I understand that,
and that's kind of what it. And I take that and I kind of run with it with life itself because it's like, I mean, since we're little kids, the thing about life is just growing. What does a flower do? It grows. What do animals do? They grow. What do fruits do? Vegetables, they grow. Us as humans, it's just a part of growing, and it's just a matter of where you put your energy and intention towards. And I'm telling you, the more I've put my true intention to be better and be just like I said, be better, it just grows. It, like you said, it's a seed that you got to plant and continue to water it, continue to care for it, continue to nurture yourself, you know, and it's something that you find along the way.
Facts.
Yeah.
Shit. Along the way, it's been a long way for you, you know, like you said. You started being in the studio since 2018. That's already 4 years or even more in the studio, and even more before to get there. Yeah. But now, throughout the whole journey, right? What's one piece of advice that you know now today you'd give yourself the day before you jumped in the game?
Wow, it's just stop overthinking and do. You know, just Nike, just do it. You know what I mean? That's one of the biggest things I've learned, you know, in my career and just in life in general. You know, I sit around and think like, oh, before I do this, you know, kind of like I mentioned earlier, you know, if you sit around waiting for the right time, waiting for the perfect time, you're gonna be waiting your entire life. And sometimes you gotta just take that first step, even though you don't feel like you're ready. You got to take that first step and just be like, yo, I know I want to do this, but I'm missing this and I'm missing this and I feel like this and this and that. But all that just crowds you, and it crowds the dream. It crowds the fire that's in you. It kind of blocks it all away. And that's something I've really learned is like, even through uncertainty, navigate. Try your best. Just press that green button and go. You're gonna, like I said, it's something that you bring together along the way, you know? And man, that's something I tell myself, you know, a couple of years back. That's something I tell myself if I could since I was a kid, you know, that's something I tell the whole world, you know, because I know how easy it is to just get in the way of yourself and stop your own blessings, stop your own progress. And that's one of the crucial, most craziest things that we do as human beings. We can get in the way of ourselves because, I mean, we're such abstract beings. You know what I mean? We're complex beings. You know, it's crazy to understand us, but it's even crazier to just get all that we feel out the way and push forward our dream, what lives in us. You know.
Facts.
And it's just, I'm telling you, that's what I would tell every single person in the world. Yeah. Don't get in the way of yourself because it's really easy. You know, you got to be the one to kind of bring yourself out the darkness sometimes, bring yourself out of whatever you're going through to just, like I said, hit that green button, that go button, and keep it going.
Yeah. I think I know the answer to this based on what you just said, but you fall in love more with the journey or the destination?
Man, you know, the way I'm talking about, you know, it's the journey. You know what I mean? Where it's like, well, it's just, because the destination, if you truly think about it, the destination that you want to get to is just an influence of whatever you've seen. But your own journey, that's going to show you so much more. That's going to, you know, the destination is like, okay, I want to get here and I know I'm going to get there, but through the journey, I'm telling you, the growth, the learning, the discipline you learn, the so many different aspects of life that you are able to consume and recreate. You know what I mean? That's where truly you find your own magic. You know, that throughout my journey, my destination has changed. You know, I mean, I got set goals, you know what I mean? But where I want to go is kind of changed because it's like, yo, like I said, you learn more about yourself. Oh, I can do that. Well, if I could do this, that means I could take this all the way up here, you know? And but the journey is something so beautiful, and it's something, you know, a lot of people gotta understand. You gotta fall in love with your journey. You know, you gotta fall in love with growing, fall in love with that entire just process of becoming something new, creating something new, everything, you know? But definitely the journey is 100% what hypes me up the most, you know?
For sure. Who are some of your favorite like artists or producers that you've collaborated with?
Ooh, I'll tell you straight up, one of the craziest producers I've been working with recently, J.R. Rodham. You know, he's a legend in the game. He's produced, man, some of the craziest records that you've heard probably growing up, you know what I mean? And 20K, the producer as well, he was the very first producer I ever worked with. 20K was the very first person to record me. He's who I started working with when I was still in Chicago. So I got into it with him, and we got a couple of hit records with him. Rum Pum Pum, the music video that I recently dropped, he produced it.
Oh wow.
So yeah, he's it's been cool working with him as well. You know, he's learned, you know, to be different. You know, all the stuff that we work on is like we step outside of certain boundaries, and it's like, oh, let's keep going. You know, so that's my favorite thing about working with producers that are like kind of like relentless with their craft. It's like, yo,
the way to break barriers, which is similar, which is exactly what you like to do with your music, so it makes sense for that.
Literally, you know? And artist-wise, I've worked with El Flow El Más Allá. He's who I dropped
the most recent video you dropped with. Super fire video, by the way. I love it.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. Bro, that one we shot like almost a year and a half ago, barely dropped. Another artist I've worked with, Campi. He's an artist from Colombia. He's in Miami scene too. We got a crazy record in the books, like crazy record in the vault is what I mean. We got a crazy record in the vault that's just, I'm waiting to drop this one, bro. When we drop this, it's gonna be crazy. And you know, apart from them, I'll tell you straight up, I used to work with a lot of local artists when I was still in Chicago. I haven't worked with too many. Recently, I've kind of just been focused on creating my own catalog, you know, but I'm always open to working with so many different creatives and artists. And I love tapping in with different people. Like I said, what I do want to do is tap in with like, I'll tell you, I almost forgot. This almost slipped my mind. I was about to tap into this. One of my biggest, like best homies of all time, bro. His name's Alzuri. He's an Assyrian artist.
Yeah, wow.
I met him here in the U.S. after he was about 3 years straight out of Syria.
Wow.
And I actually have a couple records with him. We also have a record with a couple of Venezuelan artists. And I'm telling you, that's what I was gonna tap into. Just what I want to get into more is getting into the music that's worldly. You know what I mean? I wanna be able to make music for every single continent. You know what I mean?
Global shit.
Yeah,
Man.
you know, it's so like I was telling you, just
the bilingual vibe. You're going there.
yeah, you know, and bro, so many different songs we got where it's like we throw Spanish with English with Arabic with Assyrian, and it's like, and then we was planning on getting a couple artists from New Zealand, you know, stuff like that, just to come together and make that worldwide music, you know, because like even with the rate that music's moving now with social media and influencers, and it's like everything's up for grabs if you think about it. If you execute it the right way, everything's up for grabs.
Yeah, that's facts.
Man.
How about some dream collaborations? Now that we got, like, you know,
man, dream collaborations
in the next couple of years.
In the next couple of years, you know, it's crazy. One thing I always think about is like a song that would just be out of this world. And this is all Latin folks. I would say me, featuring Mora, featuring Jay Cortez, y Bad Bunny. I feel like if we were to get together for a record, or maybe an EP, an album, whatever, but that would be something like that just hasn't been presented to the earth yet. You know what I mean? If we were to all come together, put everything in one circle and just, bah, you know, to me, that's one of my dream collaborations. Just those three artists, including me, and just to make something like that. But yeah, I would say that's number one.
Yeah, you know, I look forward to seeing that become a reality, bro. Definitely, just with the consistent work and that push, and it's gonna make that shit happen. And I already know that shit would sound next.
Bro, just like, think about it, bro. Just think about it, you know, like, cause the cool thing is even those artists, they
experimental. And
they experiment. They hold a lot of knowledge in them of music, just from the past. You know, just different genres, different sounds. These are people that study music and they then apply later on. You know, so I know even for me that's something that I got to do as well. Is you know, learn more about the history, learn more about, you know, the greats that's been doing this, and just really, you know, you ever heard the saying, in order to really look into the future, you gotta kind of look into the past. You ever heard it? And that's kind of what it is, you know, and man, it's just something I really not really wanna, but I'm getting into as well, you know, and yeah, bro, it's just, that collab would be something amazing.
Yeah, definitely. What can we see coming soon from you?
Man, coming soon, I've got an album coming out in English, another album coming out in Spanish, possibly one, you know, Spanglish vibe in there. That's going to be rolling out within these next couple of years. You know, we already planning for like 2024, 2023, 2025, even though that wasn't in order. But that's, you know what I mean? The thoughts came to me. That's in there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, bro, that's it's definitely so many crazy things coming, you know, and I'm really excited to let the world see this, let the world hear the music, and just connect with the people. You know, that's something that I crave so much is the connection with the fans, with the people. Like I said, the worldwide connection, to be able to leave your mark on history, to be able to leave something so heavy on this earth. Like, this is the only earth we know, you know? So to leave something that's for everyone, it's like, yo, that's the plan, you know?
Nah, most definitely, bro. And how about for somebody who's just, they've always wanted to get into music. They don't know if they want to make music. They don't know if they want to manage. They don't know, but they just kind of have a passion for music. Because, you know, I know that's probably where it started for you too. You know, it's just like, hey, I like that. Yeah, maybe I like playing around singing, or I potentially like this. Like, you know, what piece of advice can you give them besides just start? Because that's obviously and I think that's even though some people like think it's simple, what you're saying, like, oh, just do it. That's the truth. That's the first and most important step that people always skip. But how about after that? What's step 2?
So I would say the step 2, it kind of goes into what I was talking about with you know, kind of learning the history of music before you tap in and go a whole new way with it. You know what I mean? What you want to do is kind of know, like, okay, you know, I love producing. Well, who are your favorite producers? Read about them. Watch interviews. do whatever you can to find a way to pick at their brains, because that's it. You got to understand, with music, at this point in time, nothing's original. Everything's influenced. There's people coming up with original things. Trust me. Yeah, we hear it all the time.
Yeah.
But everything's influenced. You know, so
That's fine.
as a creative, yeah, and that's I would say that's the best part, because as a creative, the influence is simply inspiration. You know what I mean? What does an artist do? An artist steals. Be honest about it. We all, as creatives, we steal. You know what I mean? Yo, I like that. You know, but there's a way of going about it. You know, you don't just take something and you do it the exact same way. You know, that what's the word for that? That's I forgot. That's
Plagiarism?
Plagiarism, of course. You know, you don't want to plagiarize music. You don't want to plagiarize your art. You know, that's kind of how you kind of get lost in the sauce.
Yeah,
you know, you don't want to do that ever. But if you take the influence, take the inspiration, learn about it, go deep into it, and then later on, find your own little mix through it. That's where you get to figure out who you are as a creative. You know, those people that inspire you, they inspire you for a reason. They've done the work themselves. You know, they found themselves throughout the chaos of learning and creating, and you know what I mean?
Facts.
And that's really what it is, you know, just with the inspiration you take from other people in music, find the best way to just give it your own twist. And I'm telling you, you find so many hidden gems through that, you know? And yeah, that's something I would tell, you know, I would tell people. Apart from just hitting that green button and going, it's like a little game. You kind of got to find your own way through, you know? Okay.
You got any shout outs you want to give to anybody?
Any shout outs, man? Shout out J.R. Rodham right now. We locking in, making crazy hits, creating crazy catalog, crazy albums on the way. Shout out Andy Boy, my manager. But shout out all of us. Shout out so many people that's just behind the scenes of this music, you know, just metiéndole cada día. You know, it's a crazy world when you tap into this music world, you know? Definitely shout out to God overall. You know, I shout out my mama, bro.
Yeah.
Don't get me in here shouting people out. I'm gonna start talking for hours. You know what I mean? Like, bro, you tell me that, I got so many people that come to mind.
Shout out to everybody.
You know, but man, overall, shout out to God. You know what I mean? He's the one that's been there with me to show me that I'm able to do it all, and I'm able to go through the darkness. You know what I mean? And I'm able to have my light be a light for others. You know, so number one above all, shout out God, you know, and I'm gonna throw this in there because you know what? Way before I even believed in myself, my mama believed in me, you know? So that's always been my number one person throughout all of my life, my mama, you know? So big shout out to my moms. She got such a big place in my heart, she plays such a big piece in my entire existence. You know what I mean? Yeah, bro, that's what I was saying. Shout out to those people. Love y'all.
Yeah. Yo, thank you again, bro, for coming out on LY Talks, bro. Many blessings to you in the career, and it's good to see everything just keep pushing. And like you said, bro, it's all coming together with that consistent push, and it's cool to see it all happen, bro.
Bro, thank you, bro. And it's a pleasure to be here. It's a blessing, you know. Shout out Lucrative Youth. Bro, we all in the game. Metiéndole duro, como te dije, y venimos en ola. Ustedes saben.
LY Talks out.